Westside BBC. Westside BBC. I take a look at myself, I likes what I'm seeing. I'm far from conceited, just a fly human being. I dress, talk, and smell as if I want the world. Learn to steal and that's real once it attracts the girls. My sunshine, spend time, margarita twisted with lime. Half baked in these DC streets, and if you can't stand the heat, ain't got to tell you about the kitchen. Sin City living, how you twigging and itching. Stealing for a living, cause the city, the frequency's a hell of a stench. Until he raised the Grinch, taught him how to steal, land both sides of the fence. Gave him a gun and told the rabbit to have fun, not just counties, boundaries, mountains, time zones, 41 states, crypt in, 15 pipped in, and look at me mama, I'm still dipping, rest till I die, nigga try me, fuck a IV, they got 48 hours to find me, burn the whole crime scene, and all they know is he smoke good greens, and live by all means, with the heart of the whole team, you think it's easy to flip from sugar to shit, smoke up the scene and burn rubber and weed with it, designed for the 3 and the G in it, east side, you see the West LV represent explicit. And if y'all think I came to talk pimp shit, bitch, you got me twisted. It's 3-A-N-G-S-T-A period, and I just look like this. I tell them I just look like this. And Lord knows I ain't never been a punk about shit. I live the G-code where most of y'all niggas just talked it. Kicked in doors and pimped toes, where the G's at, cause this ain't the Lansing Street. Please believe that. Cause fucking with me, you get P shit, G shit, West Side 3 shit on 1P, bitch. My rock and roll lock and load, and ain't no bluffing. When them niggas talking loud and ain't saying nothing. But I kick the type of shit that can break a bitch. Like a thief, anything I wanna take in it. Out of control, rock and skate with it. Left side, and Lord know I ain't no fake in it. I took my game from the streets and jump states with it. Game remain the same, although the name changed cause they face strange. And if I got the gang bang, I burn rubber and weed and leave this bitch right now, man. From blue rags to tracks with hoes that attract tricks and jack dick, that's how it crack, bitch. Think it's a game, it's a fact, bitch. Fucking with Tone P, I'll get your bitch ass blasted up.
Wanna see my cars on flatbeds. Hey, this is a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling suicide one bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stretched new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. John Dillinger shit. Niggas in the hood wanna see my cars on flatbeds. Hey, this a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling suicide one bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stressed new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga.
guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank y'all for tuning in to the part 2 of season 3, episode 4 of the Frontline Black News. And I'm your host, Chan Chroma. I will just be doing this show by myself this afternoon, unfortunately. We had 2 topics that we did not get to last night, or 3 topics, excuse me. That was the update on Johnathon Majors, our Unhoused Neighbor News, and our Unhoused Neighbor Sweeps. So this is a continuation of yesterday. So if you tuned into the show yesterday, you should know exactly where we're at in regards to the topics. So our brother Johnathon Majors has came under fire recently as a result of accusations from his white girlfriend that he assaulted her in a taxi cab. And Johnathon Majors has denied all of these accusations, all these charges, and rightfully so. I mean, we just covered the death of Carolyn Bryant, a white woman who was responsible for the lynching death of Emmett Till in 1955. So here it is in 2023, and black men are still being accused. We are still being accused of acts that we did not commit, and our whole livelihood and future is being jeopardized as a result. So Johnathon Majors is just a prophecy for all black men in 2023. So we're going to dive into that real quick. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to Frontline Black News with a double C on YouTube and Facebook. So let's get right into it. So shout out to the new black media. We are the signal boosters of the new black media. Because in order to be considered new black media, you have to be vetted by the already existing new black media. So as the signal boosters of the new black media, we touch on topics, that pertain specifically to black people, especially foundational black Americans, descendants of American chattel slavery. So shout out to a brother named Torian Reigns Reloaded. I've been following this brother since November of last year, since the FBA rally that took place in D.C. That Tariq Nasheed and others have put on. So we're going to dive into this commentary that I did on Johnathon Majors' case and how it's an ongoing proxy war against black men. So I'm just going to press play and
so as many of you know, a more recent update surrounding Johnathon Majors. Well, this happened a couple of days ago. Is very sure even so. This is off of TMZ. It says Johnathon Majors video witness prove I didn't strike ex-girlfriend. She went clubbing after the incident, and I believe they actually have pictures of her at the club. It says Johnathon Majors says the man who was driving him and his now ex-girlfriend, thank God, the night of their alleged domestic incident will testify the actor did not strike her. And he claims there's video proof she was not injured when she went out to a club after their altercation. Johnathon's attorney Priya Chaudhry filed docs Wednesday in Manhattan, informing the court the driver witnessed what went down between Johnathon and the woman back in March. According to the docs obtained by TMZ, the driver saw the woman assault Majors around 1 a.m. on March 25th while she was attempting to steal his phone. And shout out to Keith Lee Petway for becoming a member of the channel. I definitely appreciate it. he never struck the alleged victim in any way at any time or even raised his voice. Majors and his attorney officer the driver saw her hitting, scratching, and attacking Jonathan, and that Jonathan asked the driver to stop the car so he could escape her attack, which he did. The woman allegedly told police she suffered a broken finger and a laceration behind her ear during the altercation. However, in the document, Chaudhry says they have proof that is a complete lie. Now, what you see right here is security footage at the club, and they put a red circle right here around the girlfriend. And there she is right there. I don't know if she's giving something to the DJ or what, but that's her somewhere, right here. She says they have hours of security videos showing the woman went clubbing and got drunk after Majors left her in the car. She also texted him accusing him of infidelity and threatening suicide. As for what happened while she was out at a nightclub, Majors' court filing includes screenshots of security videos showing the woman freely using her right hand, which she claimed Majors injured. And here's another image of her right here. That's her right here. In the videos, they say she casually pushes her hair behind her right ear, reaches into her bag several times, sorts through credit cards, handles phone, holds a menu, and easily a glass of champagne. Now, mind you, this is a woman who allegedly her hand or her finger is injured. Now, my thing is this: if that's injured, how are you able to do all these things with an injured hand? Right. Furthermore, why are you still in this club? Right. You should be trying to seek medical attention. They say she was seen partying pretty hard, throwing back shots and champagne with friends without any visible sign of injury. And here's another image of her right here. When her night out at the club was over, they claim she showed up at Majors' home at 3:23 a.m., entered his apartment, and called him 32 times and sent several angry, jealous text messages. Majors was not home when she got there. Chaudhry says none of the text messages accuse Jonathan of injuring her, nor does she mention any discomfort from alleged injuries. They say Majors got home at 11:13 a.m. and found her unconscious and half naked on the floor of his walk-in closet. He also discovered she allegedly threw up in his bed and told him she'd taken a few sleeping tablets. Majors then called 911 and claimed when paramedics arrived, the woman repeatedly told them, "I don't know," when asked what happened to her. Now, this is a more clear image of her right here, just because it's from a body cam footage. So this is her right here. You can see a more better clear, it's kind of a side profile of her face, but you can tell it's better quality than what you saw in the club. In the document, Chaudhry claims body cam footage shows police interviewing the woman and clearly, listen to this, y'all, and clearly coaching her what to say, or coaching her to say that Mr. Majors grabbed her by the throat. Chaudhry claims the alleged victim never made that claim to anyone prior to the officer's direction. TMZ broke the story. Majors was arrested on March 25th and charged with misdemeanor aggravated harassment, attempted assault, and harassment. Chaudhry and Majors want the DA to review their evidence swiftly and dismiss these false charges against them. This is as we reported, the case has already cost him a lot professionally. His management team and PR firm reportedly dropped him, and the U.S. Army yanked a popular recruiting commercial starring Majors. And not only that, but even some movie roles I think he was part of that they ended up dropping those as well. Now, if y'all remember, before this came out and what I talked about came out, well, actually after what I talked about came out and before this came out, so it was in between. If y'all remember, there was some stories that went out saying that a whole bunch of other women went and told their stories or was going somewhere to say that Johnathon Majors was this way and he's this way
and how he is when it comes to women, and they're not surprised that what happened happened. Let me tell y'all why they did that dog pile. But before I say why they did that dog pile or try to do it, I want to hear from y'all in the chat. Tell me, why do you think these alleged victims, I call them phantom victims, apparently went and said that Johnathon Majors did this? Like all of a sudden, all these women just came out and said something.
Just out of nowhere.
I want to see if someone in the chat is if we're lined up in the same line of thinking. And I see a lot of people came in for this discussion because the view count went up. You're right, Donna. They were quiet all the time. Like, why now? DSM Center said looking for money. Looking for a bag. Bert said money. Chris said they still mad at Bill Cosby. People said money. Either they were paid or scorned exes. They were hired, so on and so forth. Money, money, money. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people say money, but let me tell you what I believe it is. Because money can be the easiest thing. Money could be the easiest thing to go after. Destroying the reputation could be even easier. But I'm going to tell you why I believe they did this. And I want y'all to hear me good when I say this. The reason I believe all these random so-called women who just now want to say something for whatever reason is because if this case right here doesn't land the way they want it to, as far as on behalf of the ex-girlfriend, then that means they can have them on the back end to continue the dog pile on. They can say, well, this one didn't work, but we got about 100 more in the back that said that he is what he is. That's why I believe the dog pile is happening. They're back up.
Bill Cosby treatment, you know.
Just in case this happens to fall through, they have backup. That's what they did with Bill Cosby. Only one was going after Bill Cosby. Then all of a sudden, every week it was like 10, then like 50, then 100, and so on. It was these astronomical numbers. They had to have backup just in case the one fell through. So keep an eye on that. And remember, one of the people who he went to school with said that Johnathon Majors had a tendency to be like this, which that has not been proven. So they figured, let's get the people on the court of public opinion, and that'll just work because it's worked for us in the past. But like I said, Johnathon Majors could be completely innocent of everything he's been accused of, and he could very well be. However, this is a black man in America who's very successful and got successful very, very fast. This was a white woman that he was involved with that this happened. All they need her to do is saying that he did something to her, and that's it. This is the second time this year that has happened. The first time was with Michael Irvin back in February. And we found out, we saw the end game of that. Unfortunately, he ended up losing his Super Bowl gig because of it. Now we have Johnathon Majors. Keep in mind, for those of you who watch my Blacc Massacre series, will be coming up on episode 17 on Wednesday. What was the common denominator for the last few episodes of my series? Put it in the chat. What was the common denominator for the last few episodes of my Blacc Massacre series and why these towns got destroyed? Jay Barrett said lies. Tahada 420 said white women.
Yeah.
Freedman said white women. Miss Renee said the white woman. Verse said the white woman lying. So on and so forth. When I tell y'all, listen to me when I tell you. When I tell you that they are their ancestors, what's different between what that white woman did with Michael Irvin, now Johnathon Majors' ex-girlfriend, and all the other ones we've heard? How are they any different today than they were from back then? The only difference between then and back, now and back then is that back then they ended up destroying whole towns behind lies from them. Now they don't have to do that. They'll just destroy the person. But the scary part about it back then is that not only did that lie affect that black man that they put it on, but it affected everybody and everything around him, because it wasn't enough just to go after the man. We got to go after his family. Let's go after his wife. Let's go after his children. And once we go after the family, let's go after their economy, their businesses. And once we do all of that and clear the air, we're going to move right on in and set up shop with the money we took from them and claim it as ours and say we built it.
That's what they're doing. This is historically what they've done, black family.
Wash, rinse, repeat. A tale as old as time. And then they sit there and try to say that we're paranoid and that we're making it all up. Like I said, this right here that's going on with Johnathon Majors, he's just a microcosm of a bigger issue. He's the micro of a macro. What does Harvey always say? A proxy Johnathon Majors is a proxy.
Black men in this country. So the moral of that story is stay away from white women, period. Don't have no dealings with them at all. Black men that are tuning in or will later be tuning in, stay away from them cave bunnies. So the next video is by our brother Mad Blacc TV. Shout out to Blacc TV. I found out about him through Professor Blacc, along with another content creator. I can't remember right now, but Mad Blacc is gonna go in and give us a closer look at Johnathon Majors and why he did what he did, or ended up in the situation that he ended up in, messing with that Hollywood.
Hey folks, this is Mad Blacc, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. And I'm black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. And everyone's talking about it now. The fallout from the actor John Majors getting, accused by his girlfriend of violent assault. And then, the media has come down on this man. His own management and PR team, they've dropped him and decided they don't want to represent him anymore. He's been getting dropped from a lot of the major movie roles that he was going to be doing in the coming years. He's even being dropped because he's going to be in a lot of different advertisements for the military. He's being dropped from that as well. And even now, there are some more white females trying to come out there to accuse him of doing something to them. Okay, so I'm letting you know, if Johnathon Majors, if he sneezed on a white woman, they're going to say that he did something to them, or if he bumped into them by accident or whatever. Okay, because they did the same thing with Bill Cosby, where they found any woman who had any type of interaction with Bill Cosby and made it seem as if it was all he had drugged and raped all of them. That's what they're going to do with Johnathon Majors now. They're going to make it seem like he beat up and choked all of these women. And even so, even though Johnathon Majors has come out with more evidence, like actual video evidence of what happened in this whole incident with his girlfriend, and shows that he did not hurt her the way everyone is making it seem like, it still doesn't matter. You know, these people are not, these white people, that's how they do things with you. They'll build you up and put you on a pedestal when they want you there, and then as soon as you do something, or it's perceived that you do something that they don't like, they'll kick you to the curb. And that's what they're doing with Johnathon Majors now. So that's the main story, but there's a few other things that I want to talk about. And I've actually done some research into the history of Johnathon Majors, and some very interesting things that popped up. And I wanted to share them with you to see what you folks think about all of this. And I'll give you my opinion as well. So first off, Johnathon Majors is the product of being abandoned by his actual father. Okay, so he was abandoned by his real biological father, and he wound up growing up with his mother and her dusty boyfriend who got out of prison, who was verbally and physically abusive to both the mother and also to Johnathon Majors when he was younger. So he got a lot of pain and a lot of mental and emotional issues based off of that. Also, Johnathon Majors had a lot of issues in school because people would attack him and make fun of him because of his looks. So he's one of these black people who has very strong facial features, and I think it's absolutely disgusting that black people as a whole have to go through this, especially with our own people, where our own people make fun of us for the way that we look. And I can understand, like I went through the same thing as he did. I just dealt with it a lot differently. But, you know, he would get made fun of having a big nose and big lips, or, you know, very small eyes or whatever. And he would make fun of him, and he would actually get into actual fist fights with these people. So he's known for getting into a lot of fights. He's known for getting into things like petty theft and whatnot. So he's dealt with a lot in his young life and in his short time on this planet. I think he's only in his early 30s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm only a few years older than him.
And, you know, he had a lot of issues with his family, and then going on to having issues in school and, you know, with people around him. Even when he got into acting school, or got into, you know, just wanting to act and perform in theater, even other people that would own these theater groups, or people who would teach him in these acting classes, would tell him that, you know, you're a very talented actor, but you're not attractive. That they would just outright tell him that, saying, you know, you are very talented, you're great at performing, but you're not attractive. So you're going to have to, you know, build up certain skills because to distract people from how you look. That's what he's heard all his life. So I want to bring that up only because, you know, a lot of black females will get online and say that how black men tear them down and how they look. And I want you to know that black men experience this as well. Black men experience this a lot. And like I said, I went through a lot of the same things that Johnathon Majors went through, but I didn't handle it through violence. I was just extremely good at going back and forth with people as far as tearing them down with my words. So you've seen me do that on this channel. So, I wouldn't respond with violence, but if you talk trash about me, I would find it
I responded with violence and
talk about that. So that's how I dealt with things. And people normally leave me alone because when I give it back to them from that same energy, they don't want to continue anymore. Okay. And I usually wind up gaining respect because of that. Now, he took a different route, and it seems like it's caused him to have a lot of issues in his life. And, like I said, I see a lot of, I've even seen Black women now talk about how he's ugly. And I think that's very despicable, especially considering that's all Black women talk about on social media, how people don't find them attractive or very disturbing, and don't think that he can't see that. Don't think that he's not on social media or himself, but I'm sure he's seen how disrespectful a lot of Black women can be to him, and then they wonder why he chooses to be with white females. Now, I don't agree with that either, and I don't think that that's a good thing. I don't think that's good. That's not a good route to go when you feel that you've been rejected or picked on by Black people. I think that's a terrible way to go, and it's proven to be a terrible way to go for him. But it kind of shows. I understand how he got into that mold as well, and it's been revealed to me that he actually does have a child out there by a white female. I think he had a baby mama out there somewhere who I think they live in Atlanta, and he doesn't really have any type of communication with her or his child anymore, but he does have a white baby mom out there somewhere. Okay. And he seems to like to pal around with a lot of these white females. And once again, it stems from the issues that he had with his mother and her dusty boyfriend, and it stems from the issues of Black people throughout his life calling him ugly. And so when you have that deadly combination of rejection and stress and violence and being abused verbally and physically, that drives a lot of people to want to be accepted any way that it can be accepted. So that's up like a pink flamingo.
Yeah, because we were like, when TBA, shout out to Jason Blacc, the Black Authority, when TBA did that broadcast like a month or two ago, where he had him had a picture of Johnathon Majors on the cover of Ebony, looking very effeminized to say the least. We were like, what the hell? Why would he do something like that? Like, why would he allow them to position him like that on the cover of Ebony magazine? And after hearing Mad Black's commentary, I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's just doing what he thinks he has to do to fit in Hollywood. He's thinking he's doing what he has to do to make it in Hollywood, and that's a damn shame. And I've said numerous freaking times on Frontline Black News and on other platforms, why do Black men have to put on a dress or effeminize themselves in order to advance in the entertainment industry? And it's just very demeaning. It's very sad to see young Black men having to go through this just to come up in the industry. It shouldn't have to be like this. It really shouldn't. This is why we need our own industries. This is why we need to control all 9 areas of human activity. Entertainment is just one of them. But shout out to Nelly Fuller Jr. If you haven't read the United Independent Compensatory Code Concept for Victims of Racism and White Supremacy, I suggest you do so. You can get it on producejustice.com.
And looking like a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, when all those pictures came out earlier in the year of him, all dazzled up in pink and him poking out his lips and all this other stuff, and people praising him for being this moist male and trying to explain to us Black men, what masculinity was all about. And now that he got caught out there with the white girl and beating her up, now all of a sudden people are taking that acceptance away. Now, he went from the highest height of popularity right down to the lowest low in no time flat. In less than a month, it turned around completely. It reminded me of Jay-Z's song from back in the day, Dead Presidents, when he says like they repoed your vehicle, everything was going good a week ago. That's what it seemed like to me. That everything was going great, and then just all of a sudden it can all be taken away. And I think this is a great lesson for all Black people to learn, not just these Black celebrities or these Black athletes. It's a great lesson to learn how everything, the so-called white acceptance, is very flimsy. It's not something that you can build any type of foundation on. It can always be taken away from you. And we should all know that based on what we've seen happen to a lot of these Black celebrities. Like, I don't see why Black celebrities don't get this. Right. Black celebrities should know this better than anybody else, how all this shit can be taken away from you. You're not promised to have all of this fame and this love from these white folks. As soon as you do something with them, they're going to take it away. I saw very recently the comedian Corey Holcomb talked about that on his podcast, just saying, hey, this is why I don't even try to be mainstream. This is why I'd rather just stick with a Black audience, because Corey Holcomb is hilarious. Corey Holcomb, if life was really fair and all about everything being okay, he would be one of the most popular comedians ever. But he says, I'd rather stick to that local, in the city, the hood Black audience, as he puts. He calls it his hood audience. And I can appreciate that. I understand that. He said, I'd rather stick with them because at least I know they support me through thick and thin. They're not going to build me up and then just take everything away from me. You see? And that frees him because he can have whatever type of opinion he wants on whatever he sees in the world without having to cater or kowtow or go along with whatever the quote-unquote mainstream says you have to go along with. You see? Then you don't get into like Kyrie Irving or Kanye West or whoever when they have a difference of opinion on how things should go, or what religion they follow, or what they believe in, or what they thought happened during a certain situation in the mass media. You see, so Johnathon Majors, I doubt you'll hear this, but if you hear this, brother, stay away from these white folks as best you can. I hope everything is not taken from you. I hope that you're able to continue working, because I do believe that you actually enjoy what you do as far as acting goes, but you need to see it as just a job. Like Denzel Washington talks about this all the time. He sees acting as a job, as something that you do. You finish your job, you get paid, and then you go home back to your family. And that's why Denzel has been able to stay so insulated and isolated away from Hollywood. He didn't want to go to the Hollywood parties. He stuck with his family, you see? And that's where you need to be if you're going to do this type of career. Do your job, get your paycheck, go home, wait, get the next acting job, you see? Don't try to be out there partying and hanging out, going on boats with all these white women like Michael B. Jordan does. His time is coming soon too, by the way. If it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen sooner or later. I hope he can avoid this by seeing what's happening to you right now. I really hope that. But, a lot of you Negroes, you let white Hollywood gas your head up and tell you that you're large and you're great and we love you. And they put all this nonsense on you. They'll dress you up like a female, have you out there looking just as moist can be. Yeah. And I know just based on John Majors' upbringing, I know he's not down with that. Right. But, he did it just to be accepted, right? He thought that was the way to get accepted. I know from his hood upbringing he does not believe in, but he went that route just to keep in their favor. And doing so, they still rejected you later on. They're still taking things away from you now. There's still people just coming out of the woodwork talking about how you're rude and mean and vicious and all this other nonsense. You see? And really, I don't necessarily believe all of that, because just as a Black man, I know that just being a black man who stands up for himself, or a black man who is steadfast, and you're not an outward homosexual, they're going to view you as a threat, mean, vicious, whatever. If you're a black man who just has common sense, you're always going to be seen as the worst thing ever. But I want to, ask you folks, what do you think about all this and all the stuff that I revealed about Johnathon Majors? And what do you think about all the things that's happening to him now? Once again, I'm not out here trying to say I support these black celebrities, because I know they don't support us, but just psychoanalyzing and socially analyzing what's going on with him right now can be a very important lesson for us all. Do not in the fame and the glitz and the glamour of this nonsense, because it's all a facade. It's all fake. It's not real.
Right.
And they can take that shit away from you at any time they want to. Anyway, Mad Blacc, and I will be back on my foot on the devil's back.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Mad Blacc. Awesome commentary there.
What's good? Everybody, it's your brother Mad Blacc, the most dangerous, most toxic black man on the internet. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So with all the media hoopla about Johnathon Majors and all of his, his PR team abandoning him and his managers leaving him, and him losing out on a lot of new acting roles and a lot of his advertisements and endorsements that he's going to be doing with the United States military being dropped over his issues that he had with his girlfriend and the violent incident. A lot of his white male counterparts are not suffering the same being said about Johnathon Majors. The Justice Department announced that they were not going to win. And we all know how he killed someone last year. He shot someone and he killed another person on set while he was doing a film called Rust. I think it was supposed to be like a Western or something like that. He pointed a loaded gun and actually shot 2 people and killed one of them, right? It's really injured another, Baldwin, which is not a surprise. A lot of people had hypothesized that was going to happen. And I noticed that other white male counterparts like Dana White, who was on camera smacking his wife up on New Year's Eve, all these people, white and black, came out to defend Dana White and run an interference for him and make it seem like it was just that one incident and he's really not that bad of a guy, even though anyone who's followed the UFC or who's followed MMA know the scumbag, right, to the point where his own mother has come out there against him and talked about what a scumbag he is, right? Another one, someone else who's an actual actor and who's done a lot of popular films like Johnathon Majors, Ezra Miller, has been on camera choking out women, has been on camera hitting women upside the head. He cracked a woman's head open with a chair. A karaoke night somewhere, I think in Hawaii. He tried to bust into someone's hotel room that in the very same area not too long after the chair incident. Ezra Miller has also been accused of kidnapping and grooming teenage girls. He kidnapped one girl off of a reservation, okay, because she was Native American, and her family was worried sick and tried their damnedest to get people's attention on this. They talk about how their daughter had been groomed by this devil since she was 12 years old, okay? And, Ezra Miller, his movie is still coming out. They just announced they're going to have a new trailer for this Flash movie they want to be in, right? They pushed it back a little bit, but the movie's still coming out. They said they're still going to build a whole new DC universe around this Flash movie with Ezra Miller in there, okay? He hasn't been taken away. He did his little mealy mouth apology, and people accepted it, and that was it. So I guess it's okay if you're a Jew, non-binary, white male. I guess it's okay to beat up women. It's okay to choke women then. But I guess if Jonathan Majors and you get into an incident with your crazy ass girlfriend, she's going crazy on you, you try to get her off you and hold her back, then that means that you are, the most toxic and everything needs to be taken away from you. I find that very interesting. When it comes to Black people, everything has to be taken away from them. White folks can keep on doing whatever they want. To get working on that movie that he was on, the movie where he killed that person, they're going back to working on that movie from now. Okay, so it doesn't matter what happens. You can kill somebody, and we'll just go right back to doing what we were doing before. Dana White smacks his wife up, chokes her out, and I know good and damn well this is not the first incident where he's put hands on her. Okay, his mom has talked about how he puts hands on women, other people in his family and in his personal circle. I talk about how he puts hands on women. Okay, how he likes to, sexually exploit women that work for the UFC. But no one, they're taken away from Dana White. No scrutiny is coming to anyone who works with. When it comes to the Black man, Jonathan Majors, take it away from him. Take everything away from him and throw him out and leave him in the gutter. Because these white men got to stay the course. Everything's on rolling the way it was rolling. Or Black feminists who try to come here and say, well, you Black men just want to get away with beating up women and raping women, beat up women. That's not what I'm talking about here.
Not at all.
If you come talking that mess, I'm just go ahead and block you.
Right.
Okay? Stop with that trash. That's just another way to demonize Black men. You see? When they come with that nonsense, that's just another way for them to come through and demonize Black men, saying we just want to get away with what white men get away with. That's not what we're talking about here, folks. We're not talking about getting away with crime. What we're talking about is pointing out the hypocrisy of the society and how people are judged for supposedly doing the same things. And sometimes white males things that are way worse, and they don't get the same attack or the same scrutiny. We're pointing out the hypocrisy of this society. The same way you Black females point out the hypocrisy, and rightfully so, that you deal with. And you know how Black women are scrutinized, but white females can go out there and act a damn fool and nothing happens to them. Now, if Keisha gets loud or Keisha gets set a store or something like that, get her head broken open, right? But these Karens out here can act a damn fool, put their fingers in your face, they can hit people, they can curse you out, ram their cars into you, and you ones out there, doing a steady drum beat, penalized for this. Even so, there's a I support Karen movement out there. That little scuzzy, ugly looking thing, Karen, and Karen should be supported. Dumbass Candace Owens was talking that same nonsense. She's out there wearing a t-shirt talking about I'm a proud Karen and it's okay to be Karen. See what I'm saying? So there's those white women who are Karens out there who cause nonsense and cause destruction and problems. They get supported by their society, for Black women to look down upon. So if you can bring up that hypocrisy and the difference between that was how their white women are judging how white men are judged in this society. Okay, I'm sure Alec Baldwin and Ezra Miller and Dana White are sitting back laughing their asses off at the way Johnathon Majors has been treated. Okay,
sure they are too.
Got to the gutter, and these fools are just keeping on. They're going about their lives just fine. In fact, These fools are out there still talking trash about other folks. They'll still come out there and do commentaries. I remember one was out there running his mouth. I was like, you just killed somebody, you old devil. Right. And you're out here talking about what Will Smith, how Will Smith slapped somebody, and how that was disgraceful. You killed somebody. Right. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, as white men, they feel they still have the right to say and do what they want and to talk about anybody however they want, no matter what's going on with them. But you as a black person, you better not say a damn thing. When you get in trouble, you just keep your mouth closed, bro, and sit back somewhere. So I want to do some more on Johnathon Majors in a minute. I'm going to release another video where I talk about him on a more personal level about what's going on with him personally and psychologically and whatnot. Guys, and I will
as well. So the victim, supposed victim, the white woman, the Snow Bunny, the K-Beast, that accused Johnathon Majors of assaulting her, the name has been revealed. So Lisa Cabrera is gonna give us some commentary on Johnathon Majors' ex-girlfriend, who was finally named. Her name is Grace Jabari.
They finally revealed the name of Johnathon Majors' ex-girlfriend. From what I understand, I really can't blame him for that. So let's get into it. So there are new details that come to light about Ant-Man 3, actor alleged abuse victim. She still is a Marvel employee. So new developments in Johnathon Majors' ongoing assault case have recently come to light, connecting his alleged victim to Marvel. Perhaps, they're still saying the video pretty much exonerates him from abuse. So we know this happened at the very end of March after he called the police, and then the police came out and arrested him for allegedly physically assaulting a woman who later revealed to be his girlfriend. It's understood the two had an intimate relationship, and that the victim told police that she was assaulted by Majors in a taxi while on her way home from a bar, sustaining minor injuries to her head and neck. The actor was charged with strangulation, assault, and harassment charges. His legal team has since adamantly denied. Majors' attorney, Priya Chaudhry, doubled down on her defense in a public statement, insisting the actor is probably the victim of the altercation with a woman he knows and was having an emotional crisis. Still, the actor's career remains on the line. Yeah, I mean, he's losing deals left and right. And things that he was casted for, he's losing everything. So, however, the PR nightmare surrounding Majors may only make worse by multiple women. Now, we still don't know who these women are.
Hey, what's going on? So you're talking about Johnathon Majors right there. Yeah, that's that Hollywood bullshit.
Yep. Exactly.
And then also too, sir, when you look at the O.J. Simpson case back in 1994, it had similar ramifications as well too. They don't want us having shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, they want our men effeminized. They want us degrading and hating ourselves. So I'm asking the powers that be, you know, that gentlemen and ladies of that industry, you could pull your resources and you could shut them down one studio at a time. Okay. Same thing with funky ass up there in San Francisco, Stinky Bird. They say it has to be done systemic. And keep in mind that I was just looking at a YouTube video from Professor Bello talking about the Haitian Revolution, and she was talking about how they did it systemically. You see what I'm saying? And once you start the process, you cannot ease up off of it. You see what I mean? This is why they want our men effeminized. I mean, when I look at the little boy, Dwayne Wade's son, you know, going around here wearing these women's clothes and all this old type of shit. You see, what the agenda is, you know, these trans heterophobic individuals. It's about the demasculization of the black male because we're the original man. You see what I mean? Why do you think they try to imitate us, copy us, stuff like that? And then, of course, you know, the shattering of the black family unit, you know, off of the plantation system and what have you. And then looking over this video with Professor Bello, I'm going to look at it its entirety. But also, too, for those of you who have been calling in Shabaka's Black Experience on Blog Talk Radio, okay, what you would have to do is that you would have to take the number, which is 516-418-5996, and you have to let your plan knows is that you want this call right here, and they should not be charging you to call in to the show. And then, of course, as you know, Nikki Williams is on live right now. Let's see, the crew and in the East, you know, they starting their show at about 5, and I'm sitting out here trying to work, but it's getting real slow, and I'm probably going to be out here about for another hour, man. Then I'm going to call it a wrap, man, and get some rest and start prepping for our next show on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, of which will be on this coming Tuesday. Okay, that day would be 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. in the East. The number to call in is 516-418-5996. And we are still waiting on you Biden supporters to call in. Is because when you check Biden out, man, you thought George Wallace was bad. At least George Wallace told you how he honestly feel. But you see, these Democrats are going with this clandestine shit. Then they got Kamala up there. You know, she's kind of like the, what would you call that there? You know, the star of their show right there. It's constantly selling us down the toilet like she's been doing her whole legal career.
Yeah. So I'm going to finish the video and
yes, sir.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for popping in, Shabaka.
Yes, sir.
Accusing him of abuse. These alleged victims reportedly are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office following the initial wave of charges against the actor. So he is still scheduled for court on May 8th, and we're really not that far away from it now. So they finally named the woman that he was with prior to, losing everything. Her name is Grace Jabari, and she is a dancer and a Marvel employee. So Major's then girlfriend, now identified as dancer Grace Jabari, was officially credited in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Someone who works with performers to assist in connecting physical movement to emotional, musical, and theater expression. So on top of the new piece of knowledge a never seen before video had surfaced via the New York Post, apparently proving the actor did not physically assault his girlfriend.
Right, and
but
we all
it's
knew that.
all blurred out. So, their faces and everything are all blurred out. Jabari can be seen dancing and partying at a club, which she later claimed Major had injured her. And this was during a separate incident for that night. All right. So Major's lawyer had previously stated the following: the incident, the Creed 3 2023 star allegedly received 32 calls from Jabari and angry text messages, including an alleged threat of suicide.
Oh, Lord.
Claims of innocence were backed by the cab driver, who allegedly said the assault was actually done by Jabari that night while she attempted to steal his phone on the way home from a Brooklyn bar. The source also stated that Majors did not hit or choke Jabari in any kind of way, or even raised his voice. With some of the controversial, things surrounding Majors, it'll be interesting to see how his uncertain future with MCU pans out after his upcoming trial.
Mm-hmm.
While the current details remain surrounded are still a mystery, we can expect to hear more about what really happened between Majors and Grace Jabari that night when the disgraced actor appears in the court next month. It's really not that far off, the 8th. So I'll definitely keep my eye on this one and see how his, court appearance turn out, and if any of these women that are going to the DA office, if they'll be showing up for his court date as well. It's definitely interesting. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell.
Wow. So it's just more on white say so.
Oh yeah, yes, sir. Once again, O.J. Simpson, Emmett Till, so many brothers, who were strung up, castrated, burned alive, behind these Karens, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, not the Karen, the Carolyn.
Carolyn's, yeah.
Yeah. Carolyn is the new Karen.
Mm-hmm.
These Carolyns. You see what I mean? And as long as I got, life in my body, I'm gonna sit up here and tell the truth as I've lived through it, what I've researched, what I've learned, from scholars and what have you. What it is, black man, they out to exterminate us.
Yep.
Period. Everything else is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I concur, Shabaka.
And they really don't care. Yeah, and they really don't care what your status is or what have you, because that shit could be taken away from you. Look at the case of O.J. Simpson.
That's exactly what the brother before that I had put on Mad Blacc was saying. Like, they just build you up just to tear you down. They built this black man up. They gave him all these accolades, and then a month or two later, they tore him down.
Right.
Said he was an abuser. He's a dangerous black man. We need to cut all his endorsements. We need to cut all his roles, all his future roles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you warned us about it weird. I mean, you grew up in that raggedy place called Los Angeles. So
yes,
you
sir.
would know better than any of us.
Yes, sir. And to drop some knowledge, over the years of living there, they're going to tear up all his contracts. Okay. he's going to lose his revenue. You see what I mean? They're going to break him, with breach of contract, lawsuits, shit like that, and as you had stated so very, very well over the years, Brother Paris, at Frontline Black News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhances, a division of such, is that they out to kill us, man. They out to destroy us. The black male, that is. Oh, they love the black female, you say. But the black male is their threat. Not so much of his history, not so much of how he was brutalized, but his very presence and existence is a threat to them. His very existence, you see. And like I said, and Jesse Peterson's, Larry Elder, Leo Terrell, Thomas Sewell, them educated
I was
fools.
telling you last night, Larry Elder is running for president.
That made my day, man. I'm just wondering what his ass scratching Yasa Boston ass is gonna say. Let me take a guess. First thing, man, slavery wasn't that bad. Also, too, reparations is illegal and racist. So once again, they're using this trick as a pawn against his own. And this is why we have created the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead. And if there was any motherfucker who was in need of resurrection of the mental dead, them two assholes, Terrell and Elder, are prime candidates for it. Now, the cold part about it, Brother Che, is that if these motherfuckers were Afrocentric, man, they would be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, if they were.
They really would. Yeah, they really would. And this is why I appreciate Brother Tariq Nasheed. I appreciate Paul Robeson, Toussaint L'Ouverture, Dessalines down there in Haiti, Mr. Lumumba over there in the Congo. Let's see, Julius Malema of Azania. I refuse to call it South Africa. The true name of it is Azania. And Ms. Miriam Makeba, when she was alive, she made it a point to refer to it as such, and she simply stated she merely sings the truth, which she did. Same thing with Brother Kwame Ture. You see what I mean? Same thing with Brother Hugh Masekela. You see? Because she was married to both men, in her life. You see what I mean? And what it is that they're trying to kill all the positive, heterosexual, black male image. You see, why do you think Muhammad Ali was hated so much? Why do you think Malcolm was hated so much? Why do you think toward the end of Dr. King's life, who I will always respect him for, is that he realized his mistake and he was man enough to come out and state that he made a mistake, and the good doctor was gone less than 6 months, I believe, off of research that I've done, although I was a child at the time this history was going on. You see, we are loved for being ignorant, we are hated for being militant, and we are despised for our very existence.
Yep, all facts, Shabaka. I gotta get to the next topic because I gotta slow down by 6 o'clock my time. So
okay.
The next topic that we didn't get to last night was the Unhoused Neighbor News and the Unhoused.
Oh yes. Yes,
so,
yes, sir.
Here in Denver, Colorado, the sweeps continue. Mayor Michael Hancone, in his last few months in office, is still ushering out the sweeps. There's a sweep at least every week, and there seems to be no stop fight. And the candidates that made it to the runoff, neither one of them have publicly stated that they would end the sweeps, otherwise known as incumbent cleanups or public health cleanups. They're not going to end them, so there's no end in sight. And, something happened last week or the week before last. The city council, as you know, me and Lady Che, we speak at city council every week, and House Peace Action Network, them damn traitors, they had which is the new D-hole. They just changed the name, but they're still on the same boat. They had an action
Right.
at the city and county building where
Mm-hmm.
they had several people from the Aloft Hotel, which was one of those COVID relief hotels that had opened up during the scandemic, and
Yeah.
they were on the verge of displacing 125 vulnerable residents. I mean, majority of the people were elderly, disabled, and mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
So they made a final cry to city council to let them know, hey, we have nowhere else to go. If y'all put us
Right.
out, we're gonna go back onto the streets. A lot of us can't even
Right.
get to the shelters, and why would we want to do that? And we barely established lives since we've been housed here for the past 3 years. And
Right.
one of the brothers, he was a student, and he was like, well, when you guys are planning on kicking us out, that's when I have my finals, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
graduate and get my degree or my certification or whatever, and I can't do that if I have to figure out where I'm going to stay during that time. So, a long
Yeah.
story short, they're saying the Denverite and other local media outlets are saying that none of the Aloft Hotel's 124 COVID vulnerable residents will have to go back on the streets. So what they're saying, in other words, is they found alternative housing for them, which
Okay. Well, that's good news.
but me and Lady Chair are kind of skeptical of it because they were real hesitant to even do anything when they were at the city council
Right.
meeting. And
Mm-hmm.
they have all this money. They got that American Action Relief Rescue Fund that Biden passed a few years ago, and the city and the state got all this money, but yet they can't house. They talking about the contract is up and they can no longer house people in these hotels. So I'm gonna read this
All
article
right.
from right.
Yes. Go ahead.
And it says big win for housing advocates. None of the Aloft Hotel's 124 COVID vulnerable residents will have to go back to the streets. It took a massive effort between residents, nonprofits, advocates, and the city and the state. So this is one of the people, I guess, that got housed, Ruben Hernandez. Housing Advocacy Group, House Keys Action Network, Denver, HAND, had planned a big moving day on Thursday to help the last two unhoused residents of the soon-to-close Aloft Hotel facing group shelter or the streets, a fate some described as a death sentence. But HAND had canceled its plans. All 124 people staying at Aloft now have a safe place to live. The Aloft
Okay.
The Aloft Hotel was a protective action hotel, one of the city's pandemic era emergency shelters for unhoused residents. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention considered vulnerable to COVID-19. Residents,
How convenient.
right? Residents include people living with HIV, terminal cancer, respiratory infections, and older Denverites. People who need extra support, can't necessarily work, and many of whom struggle with serious mental health issues.
Right.
While Aloft was never meant to be a permanent shelter, it gave residents a rare sense of stability. And when residents learned Aloft would be closed and people panicked, fearing they'd be sent to live on the streets or in crowded shelters where they could get sick. Those fears of landing back in group shelters or on the streets are not unfounded. Another protective action hotel, the Quality Inn off Zuni Street, shut its doors, which we covered on Frontline Black News and the Revolutionary Agenda at the end of last year. Many residents were left without a permanent place to go beyond the very group shelters where the federal government has said they would not be safe from the virus. The hardest
Mm-hmm.
lawful residents. Go ahead.
Yeah, once again, how convenient. Okay, Malcolm X is shortly before his untimely demise, from what I understand off of research that I've done over the years, and this is from memory now, is that he was talking about taking the United States for human rights violations to the United Nations. They need to reignite that. Is because what's happening is that you're allowing these Silicon Valley assholes, musky bird, stinky bird, Bezos, the space cowboys, and what have you. Yeah, all them bastards need to be hauled in for human rights violations, is because you're up here building rockets and all this old type of shit. Okay. But at the same token, though, is where you can go up here and help these homeless people, these mentally unstable people, is because they are the cause of it through the bullshit they propagate on social media. Okay. People like Candace Owens, let me see, and them other two assholes we just mentioned right there. You see, that goes to prove on a collective basis of us as a people, due to the Ma'afa, as Dr. Marimba Ani had broke down, is that we, sir, as a people, are not in our right state of mind on a collective basis by no fault of our own.
Yeah, so the article continues to say the hardest aloft residents to house are undocumented Spanish speakers. Oh Lord, here we go with that social shit.
Yeah.
It's pushed the city states treat them like others. Why? They're not citizens. On Wednesday, the last two received state housing vouchers. See, they're housing them, but yet they're not housing the people that need to be housed. That's are actual citizens in the city. The two
Right.
state housing vouchers in the city of Denver agreed to put them in bridge housing. That's so bridge housing is what Brandy was in, when she was at the Fusion Studio I'm at, and that shit,
Right.
you're in limbo because you can only stay there for you can only stay at the place for up to 2 years, and then they're supposed to help you transition to another place. But what ends up happening is people they get on that bridge program, they don't move up, they stay in the same spot, and then at will they can be their housing can be terminated by no fault
That's
of their
bad.
own. And they don't tell
That's
people
bad.
they're in bridge programming or bridge housing. They just have them in limbo, and that's what ended up happening with Brandy, and that's why she ended up having to move to Aurora, where she's at now. This is a huge testament to what is possible when everyone comes together toward a housing goal and puts their resources toward housing, Han wrote in a statement. Han credited the Salvation Army staff a lead for pushing for housing, the state of Colorado and its leaders for ensuring residents who needed them had vouchers, in the city of Denver for paying for bridge housing for residents while they waited for places to open up. All this said, it is critical to remember none of these hotel and housing options were going to be open until pressure was put on the city and state to do this.
Right.
Many residents were headed to the streets and shelters until we were able to intervene in individual situations. And all the Spanish undocumented residents were going to be kicked to SOS camps with no housing pathway until we persisted in speaking up for these men. Han added, collective power was the direction of residents. Collective power with the direction of residents is necessary for the powers that be to do the right thing.
Wow. So what's getting ready to happen, in my opinion, Brother Che, with that, just like with the same shit out there in Los Angeles, is that they're getting ready to set up these encampments out in the middle of the desert. And keep in mind, this desert is very, very hot. You're going to get the people there. Some are going to be ill, have diseases. And the diseases are going to mutate under the power of the sun, is because, as we all know, you need the sun for all living organisms. They'll
Right.
simply put them out there and turn off the water. And then you're going to have massive death out there. You see, and this is why it is up to us, as a people, to get our shit together and look out for ourselves first. The B1 agenda
Right.
is because ain't nobody's going to help us, brother. Ain't
No.
nobody's going to help us. Just like how they bringing down Johnathon Majors right there, they could bring down them other cats out there too. You see what I mean? They
Yeah.
really can. You see, and what it is, they're going to use the old Carolyn tactic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to use the old Carolyn tactic. You see what I mean? And then, of course, they keep feuding the fire
Yeah.
to keep black men and black women divided. And I just looked at a video of a brother over in Africa, okay, where he was crumb bumming on that alphabetized agenda that they're trying to push over there, and they are vehemently against it, and very well so. You see
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
what it is this is why we got to pool our resources. You see, by any means necessary to save ourselves. You see, SOS or SOO. We got to save ourselves. You see what I mean? Straight
Right.
out.
Right.
We can't do it no more.
We
Yes,
can't.
sir.
So in other unhoused neighbor related news here in Denver, Denver
Yeah.
has this homeless enforcement program. So this past week, several leaders, I guess you would call them leaders, and public officials had a meeting and they come up with this Denver homeless enforcement program. So a little bit about that, and we can give some commentary. I'm only going to be on for another half hour.
All right.
So a primer, this is from the Denver Gazette. They did a couple stories on me when I ran for mayor. A primer for Denver's homeless enforcement program. So these are, so in the middle is the auditor, Tim O'Brien, and
Right.
people surrounding him are part of this homeless enforcement response team. So Denver Auditor Tim O'Brien sits with members of the Auditor Committee to present an audit of Denver's new unauthorized enforcement or unauthorized encampment response program.
Okay.
So in addition to revealing major gaps in Denver's homeless enforcement program, a recent audit by the Denver Auditor detailed how the city is responding to the homelessness crisis that has become more acute in the last several years, particularly when it comes to the unsheltered population. The answers below get out of the auditor's analysis, which has been edited for clarity and brevity. What is unauthorized camping? Anything not considered a safe outdoor space or other sanctioned encampment is unauthorized. City ordinance refers to unauthorized camping as residing or dwelling temporarily on public or private property, which is banned unless a person has the owner's permission. And even when they have the owner's permission, Sabakia, they can still be.
Oh yeah.
So there's no guarantee, even in that case. There's still no guarantee that you can dwell on that property, even if you have the owner's permission. City ordinance also prevents people from knowingly blocking streets or other public passageways in ways that make them impassable or hazardous. The city refers to these obstructions as encumbrances. So they call the sweeps encumbrance cleanups. And this is of a sweep. This is literally a sweep. So you see the tents, and you see the dump truck,
Yep.
and they're literally going.
Right.
The whole block. The end of this is going to be completely swept, clean, and all the tents, all the people's belongings, will be discarded.
Okay. So once again, that there's a state sanctioned grand theft because you are taking these people's property without their permission and you're discarding it. You see, just like that we had pointed out, you know, the gentleman who had his father's urn,
Yeah.
you know, after he had his father cremated, they took that and just threw it away. So what you just did to that man's spirit right there is that you killed his whole family legacy right there.
Yep.
Is what you did.
And they don't
say
care.
now.
They don't care.
No, they don't.
So I'm gonna
And they wonder why.
I'm gonna get into the agencies that's responsible for this. So there's several agencies responsible for it. So it says, who are the agencies responsible for responding to encampments? The mayor's office serves as a coordinating entry for the city's encampment-related activities.
Right.
City attorney's office provides advice to agencies on compliance, as well as attends cleanups to ensure, they call them cleanups with the sweeps, to ensure the member follows laws and procedures, which they break all the time. Public Health and Environment Division of Public Health Investigators. They have an acronym for it. It's called DDPHI DI or something like that. It's like 5 letters, and they're the ones that investigate conduct and they conduct health and safety assessments of encampments. The agency also sends substance use navigators to provide outreach to homeless people. All they do is give them a flyer talking about, you need to go to this location to get some help. That's all they do. And they literally make the people have to beg to get help. Like you have to the unhoused beg them to get any kind of assistance. And all they get is a flyer that says, you can go to this location to get access to services. Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Office, or DOTI, of Encampment Management, enforces city ordinances. So the city ordinance is the unauthorized camping ban, which has been in effect for the past 13 years. It'll be next month. Yeah, it'll be next month, 13 years.
Wow.
It'll be 13 years. No, 11 years. No, excuse me. It was in 2012, so it would be 11, 12 years since Hancock's been in office. That's been in effect. So 12 years. Yeah, it'd be 12. The agency also performs regular, large-scale cleanup encampments with the assistance of Environmental Hazmat Services. That's EHS. That's the ones that have the truck. They have the truck with the bins on top.
Yeah.
Because they have that Bobcat, which they used to go out and sweep the encampments. And then they have nothing but illegal immigrants sweeping people. People don't speak a lick of English, and they're out there.
Yeah.
Every time I asked them, I said, "Are you offering them any services?" And they just said, "No." If you try to go in there and help, you can't help. No, you can't have access. You can't come in here. I tried to get a chair for a few weeks back at the sweep that happened on election day. And they were, no. And they discarded the chair, threw it straight in the dump truck and crushed it. Department, so their contract is actually coming up, I believe. So I think City Council, as usual, is going to approve it again. It's the last time.
Right. Well, they bought and paid for. The
Department of Park and Rec, they're also responsible for the sweeps. And
right.
That's headed by the Gilmores. So the husband, he's the head of Department of Park and Recreation, and his wife is a city council woman for District 11, which is Montbello and Green Valley Ranch.
Right.
And she was the council
Yeah, I've been
president.
through Montbello.
Yeah. So the Department of Park and Rec enforces park rules, particularly when it comes to camping. The agency connects people with resources. So they say they don't connect them with no goddamn resources. All they do is give them a piece of paper. That's all they do.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
also,
In other words, like Malcolm X said, a pacifier.
it also disposes of or stores abandoned property. Yeah, right. Yeah, you go to that storage facility. Good luck trying to find your stuff. A Department
Yeah.
of Housing Stability or HOST provides outreach services through programs staffed by city employees or through contracts with third parties. Department of Public Safety's street enforcement team, that's the ones we were telling you about, Shabaka, that are snitching on the unhoused. That's the ones that go
Right.
encampments to put the damn notices up. Oh, you have 2 days to leave or you're going to be swept. You have 7 days to leave or you're going to be swept. Those people, they don't provide them with no
Yeah.
services, nothing. We've recorded them numerous times harassing and disturbing the unhoused. And these people get paid to do this.
Yeah.
The street enforcement team contacts people who violate specific laws and seek their compliance before issuing citations. The agency also to connect people to services. No, they don't. That's a goddamn lie.
Yeah.
Department, of course, the DPD has to be involved. Police department is called to assist. They don't assist. They don't do nothing. All they do is sit around. They don't do nothing. All they do is sit around and guard the gate and keep people from getting in and getting out. That's all they do. They don't do nothing. Talking about assist. Yeah, they assist in large scale cleanups. All they do is open the gate, let the people in that want to do the sweep, and keep people out that want to help. And get paid time and a half. And they don't even have it documented how much they're paying these officers to do this. But we know from core requests that they're getting paid at least $50 an hour to just sit around and do nothing. Police department is called to assist in large-scale cleanups to ensure compliance, cooperation, and safety for city workers. Yeah, the same city workers that was shouting all hell white supremacy and all this. Them same workers, yeah, they need to be safe. Yeah,
they do.
The department also offers services. No, they don't. I don't offer no goddamn services. It's a damn lie. Collects weapons. Yeah, they do that. Make arrests. Yep, they do that. They check everybody for warrants when they go to the sweep site to the encampment. The first thing they do is wake everybody up, and then they run everybody's name. And if you have a warrant, they arrest you right there on the spot. And follows personal property storage procedures in case of an arrest. No, they don't. You get arrested, your shit is going to the dump.
Yeah, straight out.
And then the fire department comes out, and the fire department takes all the propane tanks. Fire department assesses violations of and enforces eternally in Denver fire codes while serving as an intermediary for public safety during a cleanup operation. Denver Human Services connects people, not just the homeless, to services. No, they don't. No, just stop the cap. What are the parking prohibitions on recreational vehicles? Denver bans people from parking recreational vehicles for longer than 24 hours if the vehicle is more than 22 feet long. City ordinance also prohibits parking a vehicle, including inoperable or excessively damaged cars, on a public street continuously for more than 72 hours. Recreational
Yeah.
vehicle encampment is a relatively new issue, the city notes. And they just passed another ordinance which makes it even worse. Like, they just did that last week. What about park rules? Denver bars people from camping or residing overnight in city parks. The city ordinance also bars people from constructing temporary or permanent structures in the park. What are
Yeah.
city outreach services? Cities and encampment response begins with outreach efforts. What Denver focusing on solutions to prevent homelessness and on efforts to resolve the crisis quickly when it occurs. A key response is to offer services before a cleanup happens. They keep calling it a cleanup, but it's a sweep. Here are the
Yeah.
outreach teams, or traumatic displacement. That's exactly what it is. It's very traumatic, and they're displacing people that have built whole communities, and now they're telling them, "Oh, you got to move along," and they just move up the next block. Early and intervention team responds to outreach requests from people and through the Denver 311 system, which is complete garbage. Good luck with that. I've called 311 and 211 several times and got nowhere. Um,
Right.
Pocket Gov, which is an app, and other referrals. The team provides initial contact, housing, and service-focused case management to house homeless people living in encampments that typically have 10 or fewer structures. The team does not enforce city ordinances or take part in cleanup activities. The Denver City, the Denver Street Outreach Collaborative offers engagement services, including programs that are housing focused to homeless people, focusing on those who are chronically homeless and living in encampments. So you see those bins; those are supposedly the bins that they put people's stuff in, and then they can go retrieve it at a later date. But we've documented with DHO, this facility where they store all the people's belongings, supposedly, and the people that go there to get retrieve their belongings, and they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
See,
it's
so which means is
the hours of operation are real weird, and most people that are unhoused, they don't have transportation to get to this place, and they're also being
right.
traumatized because it's right behind the jail.
Wow.
So the
How
article,
convenient.
yeah, so the article continues to say, the strategic outreach to large encampments team contacts homeless people as soon as cleanup. Keep calling it cleanup. It's a sweep. Sweep notices are posted in encampment areas to provide initial assessments, identify service needs, and refer people to help. Yeah, right. If they beg, substance
Yeah.
abuse navigators are part of a program that responds to police calls involving people with behavioral health needs and substance use disorders. They shouldn't be responding to that any goddamn way. That's why we have STAR,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
street team assisted response. Um, the homeless outreach team, a small group of police officers, focuses on addressing the hot team. Yeah, focuses on addressing issues related to homelessness, including encampments in downtown Capitol Hill, Cheeseman Park areas. While they make arrests, the goal is to seek voluntary compliance. Yeah, right. Street enforcement team enforces city ordinances and informs homeless people of available. No, they don't. They do not. They do not inform them of no available resources. That's a goddamn lie. That's a damn lie. All they do is go around putting up notices. Oh, you're gonna be swept in 2 days. Oh, you're gonna be swept in 7 days. That's all they do.
Yeah.
When do large scale cleanups happen? You mean large scale sweeps? Using information from multiple agencies, the mayor's office decides when to conduct encampment cleanups. Denver schedules cleanups, sweeps, for several reasons, such as when officials conclude that an encampment poses public health hazards or safety risks, blocks public rights of way, or is located in sensitive locations, such as schools. Typically, the city will post a notice about the scheduled sweep 7 days in advance. The city also coordinates with Colorado Barricade Company to rent traffic control devices and develop traffic control plans with with Environmental Hazmat Services Incorporated to dispose of hazardous waste and to store personal property. Yeah, right. Yeah, they dispose of hazardous waste. As far as storing personal property, good luck with that. Can the city throw items away? Yes, and they do on a regular basis. Yes, if the city deems an item to pose an immediate Sabaka, if you have a tent and you have a sandwich in in the tent,
Yeah.
they'll deem that a public health. They'll deem that a public health issue or risk,
Right.
and they'll guard the tent just for having a sandwich. Or say you're diabetic.
Yeah.
If they find a syringe in there for whatever reason, they can discard your tent. So yes, the
Wow.
state deems an item to pose an immediate risk to public health and safety. These items include syringes, medical waste, uh, perishable items such as food, and mattresses. Oh, how dare you have a mattress? Oh, you have a mattress? You have a couch in your tent? Oh, we have to dispose of that. The city collects and stores items not deemed, not deemed to pose any threat, such as backpacks and tents. Yeah, right. City staffers must identify, collect, and store certain items. They don't store these items. Those items go straight to the dump. If this was the case, then
Yeah.
why are so many unhoused people talk about they don't have no ID? They don't have no social security card. They don't have no birth certificate because the city literally disposes of all their vital information. Uh, so they're lying here. This is all cap. Uh, City must identify, collect, and store certain items such as wallets, prescription drugs, and personal identification. The city must store this personal property for at least 60 days before discarding them. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's incredible. And with that, all that is there, brother Tim, I'm gonna say this here and I got to go.
Yeah, I'm
It's
about to
a
close
human
out the
rights.
show.
Huh?
I said I'm about to close out the show.
Oh, okay. All
So go.
right. So what it is, yeah, because what it is, sir, it's a human rights violation. It's state sanctioned. You see, and now I understand the importance of voting and what have you, but they manipulate votes just like, as you know, with the dump and the panties of Florida and Fox News, being sued for $750 million. You see what I mean? It's this fervor that's going on. Is that that's incredible? And once again, we're the main ones who that they're trying to exterminate. So I hope I'm wrong in this prediction. And if it won't be this summer, it damn sure be by next summer. Is where they're going to start shipping people out who are homeless out here to these deserts here in the West, man. And they're going to have them out there, man. They probably had the military do it, and then they're simply going to shut off the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
they're simply going to shut off the water. It's because old Gruesome Newsom, from what I understand, still there in California. After all the rain that California had last winter, it's still a water shortage. And then of course I haven't been to the Colorado River yet over by Hoover Dam in a minute. And I'm just want to know just what's the water level uh over there. You see, because I'm quite sure that it had to have risen. You see, and if it has not risen, then I honestly believe is that what they're doing is off the west coast is dumping the water into the ocean.
Yep, that's precisely what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have a doubt about that. And then the sad part about it is that these assholes are not being held accountable
Mm-mm.
for it. You see what I mean? You know, it's because that's why they got probably all this trans shit going on, to distract people off of what's really going on, which is a form of genocide. You see what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
it is big
And,
time.
and this is why we have stated on our platforms we can no longer be caping for anybody else. Is because it's us versus everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody
Really
versus
messed with
us.
everybody. Yep.
Yeah. Then in American ethos, which is the group psychology of any given society or what have you, everybody hates us. It's so damn bad they got us hating ourselves. You see, but I wonder what Elder and Terrell, uh, where their heads are at on that. And then when you approach individuals as such with that, they're gonna give you a bunch of prepackaged bullshit. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
very, very interesting of how all these other groups are having the cohesiveness amongst themselves, serving their own self-interest. And I'm not mad at them for it. This is what we got to do. You see, so we can't cape for nobody else no more. We can't do it. We can't do it. It's
Right.
because our very existence, okay, is at stake. And the situation is critical.
Yeah. So give
Not
the
death.
viewers where they could reach you and what the topic is for Tuesday.
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely. What the topic is for Tuesday, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, is going to be the black politician, okay, of how he will serve everybody else except himself.
Oh, so we're gonna
That's
do
what that's.
because then we did a show like a month ago or two ago uh, about that.
What? Okay. All right, then we'll just simply, make that there part two. I'll, check the archives on it as well too. It's because we got to start worrying about what our self-preservation is. All this shit is getting digitalized and want everybody's fingerprints and idea. Always wanting to know where the fuck they going and shit like this. And then I saw a live feed of the California Agricultural Inspection Station that you have when you enter California. They ask if you got any fruits or vegetables that
Yeah.
you're bringing into the state.
Yep.
Okay, and there was a video of a white guy, or I don't know if he was white or not, but let's say he definitely wasn't black or of African descent. And he
Uh-huh.
had stated that he doesn't consent to the search, citing Fourth Amendment rights and all this old type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, had that person would have been black, the California Highway Patrol would have had no bones about busting open his window and literally dragging him out of the car.
Yep.
You see, you see what I mean? But however, when these Karens and these Kens, go out there and do that, they get respected. You ought to saw the live feed from the dude of Colorado, not Colorado, this Wyoming,
Wyoming.
the
Yeah.
Great Plains, yeah, north of you, where they gave him back his passport, they gave him back his ID, and he said he wasn't going for it, and he was in an open carry state, and he said he was going to defend himself, and they backed down on him. Had it would have been a brother, well, we quite obviously know what the result would have been with that. So definitely check us out on Tuesdays on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. So that's our tentative episode. But however, when you and I get together, Brother Che, we go over it in depth And then we most definitely will post it, the contact information, the call-in number, up on the like page of Shabaka's Black Experience
It's
Enhanced on
scrolling at the bottom
Facebook.
of the screen too.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you, sir. And then also too, we'll put some tweets out there on Stinky Bird, to let our people, know as well too. All right, so I'm up out of here, man, for this date, man. I'm trying
All
to
right.
get about this heat a little bit. Although I love it, but I got to get hydrated.
All right. Thank you for tapping in, Shabaka. I'll holler at you later.
Yes, sir, and thank you for having me. Okay, have a great day.
Peace. All right, Black family. So I'm gonna end the show. Thank y'all for tuning in to episode 3, or season 3, episode 4, part 2 of the Frontline Black News. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our platforms: Frontline Black News, The Revolutionary Agenda, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Blog Talk and on Twitter. So make sure you check us out on Tuesday for a brand new episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, and every Saturday for a brand new episode of the Frontline Black News. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment. Y'all have a good evening. Peace.